Thank you all for joining us today for this CFC training. My name is Mike May. I am the President CEO of MP May, your outreach coordinator, and we're going to change our names to Mike May, your outreach coordinator. And I'm joined today by Jennifer Howard, who's the national director of all our CFC operations across the country, Antonia Gonzalez, that for the central area CFCs, she's your area director, and then Courtney Plocky, who is responsible for everything else that goes on here besides that, and also events. So if you have questions about that, and then Noemi's jumping on right now, and Noemi is our support specialist for the southern area. So you have the whole team here, and we are excited to work with you. And just want you to know that Nerds Candy Corn. Oh, now you've really distracted me. Yeah, check that out. If everybody would put in your name, where you're calling in from, your CFC number in the chat, and your years of CFC experience. And the reason I like to do this is because we like to make sure we know where everybody's calling in from, that you know your CFC number, because if you don't, we can give it to you. But most importantly, so many times we come on these meetings, and I've done 3 today and did a Federation one. I'll do 2 tomorrow, do 1 on Friday, did a couple yesterday. Of the 5,000 charities that get into the combined federal campaign each year, about 40% are brand new contacts to us. And if that's you, first year or second year, I want you to know that you're amongst friends. There's a bunch of us that are, a bunch of folks on here that are brand new to the campaign. And the emphasis for us is making sure that you get your questions answered, and know that no question that you have is too simple, or is it also a question I didn't answer 2 hours ago, or I didn't answer yesterday, or I'm not going to answer tomorrow when we do northern area or western area. So there are Anita, Catholic Charities, right on, first year. Joshua's second year. Alex, first year participating. Ashley, right on. So thank you all very much. Know that if you have a question, somebody from the MP May, and you want to answer it, ask it in the chat. Ask it in the chat. Somebody from the MP May team will answer it for you. We have slides, of course. We have a deck. It's not really a presentation unless you have a deck, right? But we will also bounce from this deck back and forth between the Give CFC website and your CFC charities website. These are all critical websites that you need to go to and become familiar with as you navigate your participation in the 2024 CFC. So I like to use the slides to keep us on track, but I like to use go live to places where we can actually show you where you can get the information to help your participation and help you maximize your participation. So again, put any question you have in the chat. Jen or Antonia or Courtney or Noemi will get back to you, and or raise your hand. We love it when people raise their hand and interrupt us. Well, actually, my team loves it when you raise your hand and interrupt me. So don't hesitate to raise your hand, ask a question, and again, a lot of first timers, a lot of second year folks, and we want to make sure that these the next 40 minutes or so, we'll try to get you out of here at 15 till maximize so you get all your questions answered about the CFC. So today we're going to talk about how the CFC works. We're going to talk about the 2024 theme and materials, how you market to yourself or your organization to the federal community, and CFC events. You have to apply to participate in the campaign, and when you apply and you go through that 6-month process, and then you go through the listing and you pay both fees, then you get to engage the federal community. And we want to thank you because the CFC has been around for 63 years. Forgive me when I say this. I don't mean it to sound crass. Nobody ever died from CFC. It's the programs that local charities provide that inspire us, that inspire our 2,000 federal employee volunteers that are asking their colleagues right now to participate in the CFC. And it's those donors that give that are inspired by your programs. The CFC is a funding mechanism. It is a federal tradition, but it's your programs, the work you do in your local communities that inspires all of us. And we can't thank you enough for partnering with us this year, if this is your first year, or again this year if you've done it before. What's the advantage of participating in the CFC? Well, when you give to the CFC, when you participate in the CFC, every federal employee clicks here, clicks on donate at the Give CFC site, goes to find a charity, and they do this. They do a search. And they cannot give through the CFC unless they find you on this list. And you, when you're on this list, have access to all 4 million federal employees. The 3 reasons why federal employees give: why don't they just give directly? Why wouldn't they just give directly to the Hawaii Dog Foundation? Well, there's 3 reasons. First of all, this is done at their office, and there is an esprit de corps. It's like GoFundMe, right? You get to see the amounts, you get to set a goal, and working together, you get to reach that goal. And that's number 1. There is a huge, in fact, we're seeing it now as they come out of their COVID posture. There's a huge esprit de corps, camaraderie. I remember Jen and I were talking last week, and there's an EPA office in one place, and they said since COVID in 2020, there's 50% new people in their office that they've never met face to face. So they are using CFC as that mechanism to have a ice cream social, have a CFC event, have a chili feed, invite charities there, and then we all get together and we celebrate our communities and the good things that CFC does. Secondly, you're part of a larger gift. I could give to the Hawaii Dog Foundation, and I could give them $35 or $100. What can they do with that? They can do good, and thank you for giving. But if I'm part of the CFC, I'm part of a $10,000 gift to the Hawaii Dog Foundation. That's going to come to me monthly in a steady stream of unrestricted funds. And I get to say, hey, I get to spend that $10,000, and I get to budget that $10,000. And I might buy a whole new set of cages, or I might do a whole set of rescue efforts. I can do so much more through the bigger gift that I'm a part of as a federal employee in Hawaii that I'm going to choose to give this way. And the third reason, and you don't like to hear this, but I like to say it because it's true, anonymity. 20% of the employees release their names, 80% choose not to. If I give to you directly through your website, have to release my name. In the CFC, people give to about 3 charities. If I give for 10 years to 3 different charities, I got 30 solicitations coming in my email box every year. If I give directly and don't release my name, then I know I have anonymity and the money's not spent on that resolicitation. So federal employees tell us that those are the 3 reasons they primarily give through CFC. You get to track your pledge donations, and federal employees can give volunteer time through the campaign. So this year's theme is Give Happy, same as last year's theme, but thankfully you guys gave some really critical feedback. And the feedback that you gave after the campaign was over was, hey, my program is not that happy. There's some things about my program that really don't translate into Give Happy. So the campaign made impact words to go with Give Happy. So now it's give justice, give conservation, give community. And so you can use those through with the Give Happy logo as a way to localize and emphasize your organization's program within the Give Happy theme. And if you recall, anybody remember last year, we used to have cause weeks. And every week we'd have a different cause. So it would be justice, or it would be arts and humanities, or it would be veterans. But what we know and what we learned and the feedback we got from federal volunteers is, well, I want to set up my own 6-week campaign or 4-week campaign, and I want to decide what we're going to highlight. And so what we've done is move to cause areas that allows federal employees to choose for themselves what weeks they want to use. Because if I'm at the EPA in Chicago and I'm going to have a 6-week campaign, let's say I want to do 1 week animal welfare, 1 week children and family support, 1 week disaster response, and you can set it up yourself, you can roll it out, the messaging yourself, and you can localize and personalize your campaign. We have and still use a sample timeline. So that's still the idea of, we're not going to send emails out for 20 weeks saying give to the CFC, give to the CFC, give to the CFC. We want you to say give to these issues, because we acknowledge, the CFC acknowledges, that donors are inspired by different issues, different causes. And we want to highlight those causes and remind them that all those causes you can find in the CFC site. So click on, find the charity, find the cause you want to support. Make sure you folks know that when you do a search, just because I had this one earlier, it does both your name and your statement. So those keywords are what the search engine looks for. So it's not just if your name doesn't have that keyword. So you don't want to have a string of SEOs in here, search engine optimization words, but you do want to have words that talk about what you do in your statement. Weave it together so it paints a picture of what you do, but also includes those important words, because that's how people find you in the campaign, by searching here, then finding the state. So if I want to do disaster in Florida, you can come up with those organizations and do those kind of searches through this website. Jen, do you have anything to add about how cause weeks and cause areas and the marketing of this weekly to your 2,000 volunteers work, and how it's been received this year with the impact statements?
I think just knowing, which cause areas you align with, and then being aware of how to best market your organization, leveraging whether it's the impact statement, such as knowledge, education, companionship, etc. Is just that's the important part here. And you'll find that on the social media pages, and I'll go look for the central area pages and drop the links in there. If you're not following the pages for Heartland, Gateway, Heart of the Midlands, etc., you should be. We create posts, and they're very easy for your organization to share. Simply share and say something along the lines of, whether you give to our organization or any CFC organization, thank you for choosing your pathway, CFC as your pathway for giving. We support hunger, or we support stability, or whatever come up with just a short, brief statement, and then make sure you include your CFC code, because that's going to be important for donors to easily give to you and select your organization. Perfect. So yeah, this is Heart of the Midlands page. And Mike, if you click on the mentions tab, when you share a post, please make sure that you also tag our zone, the respective zone. You can see here that this Give Nebraska organization, if you expand the See More portion of it, they must have tagged Heart of the Midlands CFC in their post. Sometimes down a little bit further to see more. You can see the United Way that Black Hills did as well down there. Sometimes
Yeah.
what we notice though, like for example, is they forget to put their code on there. So this is a great advertisement there where they've got the CFC number 97241. They've got the CFC logo, et cetera, included. So just being aware of, and then go back to the page itself, Mike, if you don't mind, the homepage. You'll see that they have the posts. You'll see that we are constantly posting. In fact, yesterday we did a post about volunteerism. So if your organization selected the hand, electing that you guys have volunteer hours, go grab that post. If you scroll down, I can't see it, Mike. Right there, perfect with the dog. This promotes volunteerism. You could easily hit the share button and say, hey, we have volunteer opportunities, federal employees, CFC code 12345. Please consider us for your volunteer activities this year. And again, you can easily promote your campaign by just sharing what we've already created for your organization on the site. So please follow the pages and share away.
Did anybody else feel Jen's anxiety as she tries to navigate me through a Facebook page? Wasn't that funny? That was really good. She was like, give me the keys, I drive. I want to go through this. So yes, that's talk to Jen, talk to Antonia.
Thank you, Noemi. Noemi dropped the 3
Yeah.
Facebook pages in there. So feel free to follow those guys.
Great, thank you. So moving through, there is an engagement guide. So I'm going to give you the link for charities. The engagement guide is a tremendous starting point for you. I'm going to put this in the chat. You can download it. It's a great starting point for you, how to organize your engagements. For me and most of my team, it's a little wordy. I think if you send me an email that has this many words in it, I might not read it, but it is only 9 pages. There are a lot of pictures and a lot of, they separate into campaign events, virtual charity fair. So take a look at that. The link's in the chat, download it. And that's a great question, Gail. And I'm going to let Noemi ask her question first, and then I'm going to, Antonia, do you want to answer Gail's question when we go from, we'll go to Noemi. Did you raise your hand, Noemi, or did you just pop off? You got a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. We had Anita Smith who asked, we can't donate past supporters, correct? Anita, can you just let us know what you mean by that?
I think what she means is, can she outreach to past supporters? Yes, you can, and I'm going to cover that next. So that's a great question. And regarding, Jen got back 3 to 5 hours. Excellent. Thanks, Jen. Everybody's using the chat just the way it's supposed to be used. Remember, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself also. When you go to the website, there are tremendous amount of resources on this page for charities. I just brought you to the engagement guide. If you go to an event and you want to put together a flyer, CFC logo, QR code is a great way to get people to the giving site. There is not a direct link to your charity's page on Give CFC. Everybody asks us that and say, hey, can I get somebody to go directly? Watch how this works. You see, this is the offerings. This is the page. It's a pop-out window. So there is not a direct link for you in this thing where you would think it would go, offering /87648. It's not how it works. It's a pop-out window. So there is not a direct link to your listing in the CFC, but you can send them to the CFC page, the offerings page, and then put your CFC number in there, and that's how people will find you quickly. Information about promoting yourself is here at CFC Charities. There's the messaging. There's a great messaging document that shows why people give and ideas that you should support when you communicate to your federal employees. So use that site as your go-to place. But this is where we're going to talk a little bit about past donors. And I think it was Gail. So it was it Alice that asked the question? I think that's what we were referring to. So Anita, so go to your account at cfccharities.opm.gov. Everybody should have access to this. And when you log in, two-factor authentication, what did we learn today, Jen? 90% of threats are eliminated with two-factor authentication. You heard that from Commerce? Department of Commerce?
It was on the Federal Executive Board meeting, and it was DISA, I think, was doing the presentation. Multi-factor authentication reduces our the possibility of becoming a cyber attack victim by 90%. So I think we all see it more and more in everything that we're doing. And just know that that is for your protection, as annoying as it is.
Constantly get your confirmation code on your phone. So what you'll have here is you'll have the name of your charity. You'll click on it and you will see something like this. Now this is I haven't got a new one updated yet, but this is what your account looks like. And this is a critical step for you to have success in the Combined Federal Campaign for 2024. You don't worry about the application. We're going to talk about the application tab in December when the applications are due. We're going to talk about the listing next June when listings are due. What you want to talk about now is pledges and this view button right here next to your pledges, because it has a list of all the donors that have given to you since you've been in the campaign and released their name. So there's two buttons up here. The one on the left gives you raw data, that's what we call it here, about all your gifts in the CFC. This example we have is an organization from Houston, and they look at it and you can see a lot of their gifts come from Johnson Space Center. And if they did an event at Johnson Space Center, it's good to see. It's good to see that event, and you get the dates of the giving, you give the amount of the gift, you get whether it was online, whether it was an annual pledge, whether it was a one-time gift, payroll deduction. You get all that information. And then on the other side, the blue link on the right on your pledges page when you click view are your donor names. And what everyone should do on their calendar of things to do, even if you have one or two donor names, is to thank those donors this week for giving to you in the past. And I don't care if the name came from 2017. If they released it and they retired from federal government, you know what the number one growing sector is in the Combined Federal Campaign? Retirees. And let me tell you, they all keep their email address that they release to you. This is their personal email. I've got a brother that's been a Marine for 35 years, still has a Yahoo address. That's right, still has a yahoo.com. I thought that went away with like AOL addresses. But they keep them. It's the same email, and you can remind them with a message that you put together from your promoting yourself in the CFC, using the messaging document, putting the give happy or give companionship or give relief. So they know that you know you're in the campaign, you're promoting the CFC, they've given to you in the past, they've chosen this as a pathway for giving, and you want to promote it. Whether it's 10 names since 2017 or whenever you've been in the campaign, or 100 names, thank those folks and remind them. And this is why this is so important. In the campaign, we see 3 spikes every year in giving. And that's when the Office of Personnel Management reminds all the donors that it's giving season. And they do it when the campaign opens, on Giving Tuesday, and then in the finish strong part of the campaign when it closes. Anybody know when the campaign closes? Anybody? January 15th. It opened on September 1, but the giving really doesn't start until October. I just reported out results to our team last week. We're about 10% into the campaign total, 60%, 60, is realized after Giving Tuesday and after the last 6 to 8 weeks of the campaign. What we're doing right now, what you're doing right now, is making impressions like you do all the time in fundraising. Make impressions, make sure that they know that you're in the campaign again, make sure they know they've given to you again. You remind them on Giving Tuesday, you might post something on social media. And that's how the impressions that you make remind them as they get ready to give that they want to give to you again, that you know you're in the campaign and you support CFC giving. Any questions about your account at CFC Charities? What's important there? No other workplace campaign has this kind of historical information. State campaigns don't have it. Benevity, this private sector company, doesn't have it. United Way doesn't have it. You have this information. And again, it goes back to not only your donors, and I know you folks, this has been delegated to you in the last month or 6 weeks, and what you're doing right now, and what I recommend you do right now, is learn all the information that's here, because you've already identified that person in your office that you can delegate this to next year. I know you have. I know you're looking for that person. Get them access to this site, give them all the information, the history, the application information, and it's a much easier handoff. So the CFC is taking care of you. We want you to come back, but we also know this is the best in class workplace campaign reporting site. Any questions in the chat that, Antonia, that you want me to address, or are we good to move on with
No, we're good to move.
events? So before we go to marketing, I want to go to events, because I know a lot of folks have questions about events. We have questions about events, meaning the event registration. When I sent out the invitation to everybody, we encourage you to register. Has everybody registered for, where do you go to register? Charities, register. Is everybody here registered for CFC events that wants to participate in CFC events? Okay. Make sure that you do. Hold on for 1 second. Jen, do you want to talk a little bit about events?
Sure. Okay, perfect. I want to make sure I wasn't unmuted.
Sorry, somebody interrupted me. I'm back. Thank you. So CFC events, when you register and you go through this process, put your name in there if you haven't done it yet, your charity name, your CFC number, you're a local charity, and then you pick your zone. And when you pick in person or virtual, I'm going to pick my zone as Mountain States because it's a good example. If you're in Denver, you want to click on this state, because if you don't, it'll show you all the counties that are across Mountain States. And Mountain States is a big zone. Mountain States is number 10 here. Number 9 is a big zone. Texas has 3 different zones in it. So when you go into registering and you go into, once you get your information in, you want to make sure that if you're a local charity, you pick your zone, you use this to delimit. Did I not click local charity, Spanish, Mountain States? Oh, we got to do in person. And then it gives you that. And then you click on it. Let's say you're in Boulder, you click on Boulder. Now, everybody that's done this, have you received the confirmation email from the event system that you did it correctly? Has anybody registered and not received a confirmation email? Because so many, it's coming from notifications@cognitoforms.com. That's right, notifications at Cognito Forms. So if you haven't received a confirmation or it went to your junk, search on that email address, because what we know is so often this system isn't, let's say, isn't user friendly, isn't too intuitive. And so you want to check that confirmation email and make sure what you wanted to put into the campaign system for events, you put in correctly. Antonio, do you want to talk a little bit about CFC events in your area and what the benefits are and like what folks can expect?
Yeah, sure thing. So definitely registering for events. I am physically located in North Texas, and North Texas historically has 80 to 90 events per campaign year or per campaign season. So if you are in certain areas, you will have opportunities for events. So I do cover Heart of the Midlands, Heartland, Gateway. If you are in any one of those CFC zones, those campaigns are requesting charities for events now. So if you are not yet registered, please register for events today. You will only receive invitations if you are registered. One of the things that Mike was talking about was, selecting the area that you're located in, but not just the area you're located in, is what counties you are willing to travel to participate in events. One of the things that we have discovered is there are a lot of virtual events as well. So if you're only thinking about the counties that you want to attend events in person in, there are virtual events that you do not receive invitations for if you are not selecting more than those counties that you are going to attend in person in. So I recommend that you register for all those counties in your zone, and then you could just disregard any event invitations that you receive that are for events that you cannot attend. If you can't travel, more than 50 miles to attend an in-person event, then just disregard that or say no to the RSVP on that event. But these federal employees want you there. They want to have events. They are coming more in person. They are really utilizing the CFC, as Mike said, to engage their federal workforce and to engage in the CFC. So register for to attend events if at all possible, and you will get the opportunity to participate in these federal agencies events.
This is an example of an invitation. Couple things. Do not register for events if you are not certain you can go. Nothing is more detrimental to an office campaign. All the work that Antonia does and Jen does and I do to get these campaign events set up, get them organized, get people there, than a charity calling the morning of saying, I can't make it, because then we don't have time to find a backup charity. And the morale depletion, you can just see it in your coordinator's face. They're all excited, and then it's just like, oh man, the charity that I invited to go isn't going to show up, and I don't have time to find a new one. So do not RSVP unless you're sure you can go. And then also do not, if it's an 11 o'clock event on this invitation, you're going to have security to go through. Okay, don't show up there at 5 till 11 and think you're going to be able to you're going to be late. You're going to be walking in, putting on your shoes. If you're guys, you're putting your belt on, you're hobbling in. You don't have a chance because you've gone through security at Offutt or at the EPA in Chicago or some federal building. The GSA building, the Zerinsky building downtown in Omaha. And so get there early, meet the person, get set up and meet the person that's putting on the event. It'll be a much more rewarding experience for you, your colleagues, if you get there early. This is what you do to RSVP. Yes, folks, we train. Antonia, Jen, all of us train. Give us 2 weeks to set up an event coordinator. Give us 2 weeks. Give us 2 weeks. It doesn't always happen. And if they ask for 4 days, we're going to tell them we're going to do our best to fill their event on Monday. Even though today's Wednesday, Give us all the details. We'll put it into the system. So if you can't make it, we understand. If you're frustrated that if you would have got the event 2 weeks earlier, you would have been able to make it, we understand. But sometimes, even though we train to that, sometimes it doesn't work, and we're still going to give these organizations, these federal employees, an opportunity to have the event they want. Any questions about CFC events? Yes, Noemi.
Because we're talking about events and showing up, when you register, please ensure that the person that's going to go to these events, the person that's going to attend or get a hold of the person who's going to attend is the contact person. Because even today, we hear back from, oh, I didn't get an invite. Well, we sent it to another person and that person never got it to anybody else. So ensure that whenever you register, that person is going to get a hold of whoever needs to be at the event, wherever that event may be.
Thank you, Noemi. It's a good point. And this is where you fill that out on the RSVP. So I think we talked about tips for events, and Jen, you did a great job this morning on our training talking about marketing. Do you want to do a little bit of marketing or go through that part of the website and how you market yourself as we wrap up today? Because I think you
Sure. Do you want me to share my screen or?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's see. All right, guys. So, as you know, you guys went through the process to apply to the CFC. You paid to play. Getting vetted to be a CFC approved charity is quite a task. We are highly aware. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. I'm trying to make it bigger.
You can just share the software instead of the whole screen. So share the application.
I don't know if your guys' like system ever does this where like you try to click and nothing happens. Like you're clicking and nothing happens. Thank you, Sally, for shaking your head. Yes, I'm like, nothing is happening on my screen. So we shut that down. I think what happens is I have too many windows open and it's mad at me. So I can't navigate my Chrome right now.
You want to navigate me then?
Yeah,
you navigate me.
Thank you. So, you know, being approved through CFC is quite the process. Congratulations for getting through that. And as we know, being approved by CFC isn't enough. You still have to register to be a part of the events program. And it's so important that you promote your organization's involvement in the CFC. So this is one of my favorite pages for charities is promoting yourself because there's so much good information here. I know I dropped the logo in with the link. This is where I got it from, was on this webpage. Putting that logo on your website, in your newsletter, social media, your LinkedIn pages. I was on a Department of Commerce meeting earlier, and they're sharing all of their activities through Department of Commerce's Office of General Counsel's page on LinkedIn. Having that logo publicized and promotes your organization. And here's the truth. Federal employees, the federal government is our single largest employer in the country. There are more federal employees employed than any other employer, right? So trust that your website, however you're promoting your organization to the general public in your community, federal employees are seeing you, whether it's postal carriers, military, FAA, people that you have no idea are federal employees. They are seeing it. And to Mike's point, retirees being the fastest growing group can give through their annuitant check, and they are seeing your advertising, whether, again, if it's through social media, commercials, billboards, whatever you're doing to promote and publicize your organization, having that CFC logo it's like a 2 by 2 inch, piece of real estate that's so small, really. And it goes a long way. When federal employees see this, they say, oh, they're in the CFC. I can give to them through CFC. They're reminded that you participate in it. And we know that when they give through payroll deduction, their giving is going to be much larger, right, than that one-time direct gift. Often payroll deduction, 26 payments to you. Well, 12 payments because you're paid monthly, I believe, but 26 deductions is far more than that single one-time gift that they're going to give you. So, Mike, if you want to jump over to VetTix, that's the page I typically go to for an organization. Yeah, average gift last year over $700, Mike put in the chat, and sometimes it's even higher depending on the agency or the zone. So VetTix does a pretty great job here when you go to their website. This is one organization in the CFC. At the bottom of their page, where they have all of their seals of approval from, charity state registration and Better Business Bureau, all those seals down there that you see. They also have their CFC logo, which is perfect. And I love that in parentheses, they say since 2001 or 2011 that they've been participating with their code. Remember, guys, that code 44909 is their code. This is great. But what's even cooler is that when you click on it, go for it, Mike, click. They have a page dedicated that demonstrates to the federal employee how to give to them. They've taken screenshots. Now they've got a couple typos here, guys. It's not the 25 CFC. They're eager for next year. They get, application season for charities, guys, starts December 1st. Mark your calendars. It'll be time to apply again on December 1st for the 2025 campaign. And then they show the join the 2023 campaign. So they got a couple typos, but the content is solid in that they're linking people to the giving site. They're showing you how to search for their organization and how to ultimately make a gift to them. And so they've done a great job driving donors to, one, promoting that they're in the CFC, and two, giving donors easy access to give to them through this page. And they also use text as a way to promote and publicize, and other social media we see. Ads, different ads that they use. And for them, when federal employees attend events that they've given them tickets to, they actually even have them tag the zone or tag CFC, give CFC in their check-ins for the events, which is pretty cool as well. So they're doing a pretty phenomenal job. And I say that because when we looked at their results, you guys, with CFC over the last 4 years since they started doing this, they have doubled their results every single year. Their growth of contributions is awesome. And it is because they are promoting their participation in the CFC. We are here to do that for you. Absolutely. And we are going to do our best to promote and publicize 5,000 charities in the CFC, right? You guys promoting and publicizing your participation is equally, if not more important, to ensure the success, the contributions come through to your organization. So again, you have to think about how you're already communicating with your communities and your potential donors and your current donors. Again, going to that site and going back and retrieving, people who've given to you in the past. But think about how you're communicating, and just make sure that CFC is sprinkled in there, just that logo with your code. Federal employees will see it and they will remember it when it comes time for them to give each fall through their CFC campaign. Thank you, Mike, for driving.
Thank you, Jen. So, like I said, we want to kind of wrap up here. 45 minutes. We've gone through events. If you have any questions, you need to reach us. Probably the best way, you go to charities and you can, reach us through, I like going to this page because it gives you where to turn for help. If you have questions about Office of Personnel Management, or you have questions about the application process, if you have questions about pledge reports, you go to the Central Campaign Administrator. These are the folks that run this site. It'd be nice if there was just one phone number to call, but it's a big campaign, and Nate, worldwide, 4 million folks solicited. So it's a few contractors and the Office of Personnel Management. This is the marketing information, not as important. charity@mpmay.com. Send us an email anytime with questions. If you have a question about your local zone, you can contact your zone manager, who should have already contacted you this year, as we contacted you about listing due dates and these trainings. But you can send that email, and if you have any questions about your local OC, just you can talk to CFC support at charity.org. But we are your local outreach coordinator. We will get you the information, and any questions you have, we can get you the answers. That's what we're here for. Thank you very much for partnering with us this year, or again this year, if this is your renewal for 2024. We're going to have another training in November to make sure everybody is signed up for events, getting events, understanding kind of the trends of the campaign, because the real rubber hits the road starting Giving Tuesday. And I know I'm not asking for anything more than you just to send that reminder to CFC donors on Giving Tuesday or the week before, because I know you have a big effort internally to do that. But make that part of your Giving Tuesday effort. And then what do? You go to your account at CFC Charities, you pull down that raw data report, and you can see how many gifts that you got on Giving Tuesday because of the work and the reminder that you sent out. You can add that to your total, your organization's total, and I know you have a bunch of different irons in the fire that day, but CFC can be one of them, and we can give you those results for what you raised in the CFC on Giving Tuesday, be it $500 or $5,000. And then that reminder at the end. Those are the three most important things you can do to maximize your participation. Sign up for events, attend events. Thank you for your support in the campaign. And like I said, it's you that inspire us. It's you that inspire our volunteers, the 2,000 federal employees across the country that are soliciting their colleagues. And then it's you that inspire donors to give when they go to the website and find the charity that they want to support. So thank you all for attending. Thanks, Antonia. Thanks, Noemi. Thanks, Courtney. Jen, as always, thank you. If anybody have any final questions, you can raise your hand. We'll stick around for a bit, but thank you, Ashley. Great. And I hope all you first timers, you never get everything the first time you hear it. So don't hesitate to shoot me an email and say, hey, what was that about QR codes, or what was that about social media? And we will get you to the right people. So thank you all again. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you out on the campaign trail. Okay. Bye for now.